set up initially, right? This is just too much of a good thing. I'm not dead in mode. No. You can see if I'm riding my opponent, why this might be a tricky play to pull off because we're approaching each other. The point's already in his face, this fight's over. If I cut over, I don't have a lot of time to drop that cut off. Which brings up an interesting issue. What if you can't drop the cut off? Where timing becomes a problem. There. We're riding by one another. He cuts. I blow him apart. I don't have time to drop this on him. What do I drop on him?
Your arm.
The nearest thing.
Not just my arm, guys. My whole structure. Which includes what? Horse. Okay. And me, and my blade, and the turning of the horse. Okay. This goes really badly for Davis, because he's also stuck to his horse by this very high-backed saddle, which is essentially creating a spine lock. Let's see that. I'm afraid Davis would fall on Greg.
That's a video of it.
So we're actually going to try this. Okay? There are a couple of things to bear in mind. This play absolutely shows up in the foot combat section, but not with the sword in one hand. This is where you start extrapolating through the system. We do see a hip throw in the section. And knowing that that's there, we must assume that Master Fury assumes the other throw as well. Where might we see that? This is, remembered, an outside parry that we're making. Okay. Okay, thank you. Alright, you'll put your sword down and try to gag me. Okay. As Davis comes to me with his dagger, I'm taking the outside line. Yes, no? Yes. Okay. This is a pretty easy extrapolation to make, because here I've essentially overbound him. It's the same thing. For the same reasons. Okay?
You all know this throw in the guild is the big ride.
Yep.
Now I'm going to change something on you a little bit. This may confuse some people. You really have to watch your footwork on this play. Because, actually, if Vader steps up here, where do I need to have my hips to make this throw? Where do I want his feet and his structure?
Behind your hip.
I need to be here, right? If I'm cutting with the Volta Stabile off the line, where are my feet? That's a long way to go. Now this is great, because this sets up another play that we're not actually going to get to today. Okay. Which is just another dagger master play. So what we're going to do with this parry instead, this is going to probably cross a few of you up. We're going to pass with the hip turn instead. Transitioning from here, we're going to use the power from our rear hip to push forward into a passata as we make this parry. That's going to have the effect of opening up his back line as I walk around, making the parry. Perfect. I have access to his outside line. Okay. Now, a couple of things to bear in mind. These are sharp, typically. So be really mindful of where you're taking this throw. Notice when I throw Vader here, the quillins go right into this little hole here in the shoulder. Which is ideal if you're trying to really hurt the guy. But we have classes to take this afternoon, right? So, as I pass offline, and pass his structure, remember all the principles that you know of the hip throw actually still work. A rear leg takedown involves a wave, as well as a spiral, taking him to his triangle point. So don't forget these things. This is now just a dagger play, which is just an avanzare play. I say just, isn't that brilliant? As I'm cutting up, I'm already beginning his spiral, because I'm taking the outside line. His structure is already going this way. Beauty of the outside parry. As I step, the coolin's going. That's creating the upward part of the wave. And then I just get heavy. Spiral into the spine, which is either created by my structure behind you or the saddle that he's sitting in, or both, are accentuated by all the things that are happening with the cut. So, but because of those things, please be careful when you're parrying and throwing your partner. If you're comfortable with it, you can take this to the floor, but there's not very much space in the floor, so be really mindful of it. Okay? Lots of swords swinging around, going high to low and low to high. So really be mindful of your space. It's really only important for you to understand that you've broken their structure. If you can get to the point where, with the pass, and the second pass, once his structure is broken, yours is not, that's sufficient to know what's happening. Okay? You don't want to go to the floor, great. And if the space is too tight, you don't.
Swords got really chewed up and careful with the sword.
Exactly right. Make sure you're being really mindful. Go slowly with this one. Okay? Because you're throwing someone with your structure and your weapon. Okay? There are other variants of this, and they're more sinister from a wood fighter's standpoint. For now, just work with one arm. As you drop the weapon, point the sword at the triangle.